Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I thought since we're all home and hanging out that we could bake some bread together. I'm going to share with you a recipe that I really love. It's simple, it's easy, it's great to make with your kids. It's by Samin Nosrat from her cookbook. It's called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. She also has a Netflix series. It's like a 4-part Netflix series. And this is actually one of the recipes on that series. It's a great recipe. It's really delicious to eat too. And you don't need a lot of stuff for it, which is great. So you just need time. It's pretty much, baking bread is a time investment, right? So we're going to use a nice big sized mixing bowl. You're going to need a smaller bowl. You're going to need some measuring cups. You'll need some measuring spoons. You'll need a thermometer. I like to use this little flexible spatula for scooping and stirring my sticky bread before we knead it. We're going to use a little bit of cling wrap or plastic wrap. You're going to need a kitchen towel. And we're also going to need a sheet pan. This is actually a half sheet pan. So the recipe that I'm going to do today, the measurements will make just the right amount to make this nice thick focaccia bread on this pan. But you can double the recipe and make a full pan. I like the little half sheet because it makes just the right amount of bread to snack on. And it also just happens to fit into my bread proofer perfectly. So it's a win-win for me. You are also going to need some yeast. So we're going to use this quick rise instant yeast that you get at the grocery store. We're just going to use a little bit of one packet, not too much. You're going to need some everyday all-purpose flour. We're going to need some olive oil, some honey, and then one of the secret magic ingredients is this guy here, and that's coarse sea salt. So the trick about salt is the larger the crystals or the grains of the salt, the more mild it is. So that means you can use more salt and not make your food saltier. And that seems kind of like, what's the point? But the idea is that the coarse salt has this really great texture and it's got this crunch to it. And so you can put it on as a topping. So for instance, those really great pretzels at the mall, this is what gives you that great salty, crunchy texture without making the pretzels too salty to eat. And so we're going to use this today to give our bread a nice texture and a milder kind of salty taste to it. That's going to be really pleasant. It's going to be really delicious. You can use regular table salt, that's fine, and I'll give you the conversions. This is found at your grocery store. Most grocery stores carry this. But again, you can use regular table salt. You're just going to use a lot less of it because the smaller the grain, the more salty it is. And so we'll get to that. And the other thing I'm going to use today is my bread proofer. You can just proof the bread at your house. Usually like a nice sunny spot in next to a window works really great. And you'll just need a few hours to proof the bread. But I'm going to use my bread proofer. My house tends to be a little bit on the chilly side, and so this is really great. It cuts down your proofing time drastically. Takes a lot less time to make bread, and it just really improves the quality. It's really the proofing that takes your homemade bread to professional store-bought quality, is getting the proof just right. And this machine does it. It seems kind of crazy that this little guy can do it. It's just like a little plastic box that plugs in, but it works great. I bought it and it was amazing. And it plugs in and you can set the temperature, and so you can choose what proofing speed you want to do. You can do a lower temperature and take longer to proof your bread, or you can set it up at a higher temperature and proof your bread a lot faster if you're in a hurry. So I'm going to use that today, and then obviously we're going to use an oven. Now if you don't want to use a sheet pan and you want to use a baking stone, that's also an option. So you'll want to take that baking stone, you want to put it in your cold oven, you'll want to heat up the oven and the baking stone together, and then put the focaccia bread directly on the stone without the pan. And that should give you, the idea behind it is it absorbs some of the moisture into the stone, and it gives you a little bit of a crispier crust and a little bit more even baking. And it keeps you from burning it when you're cooking at high temperatures, because we're going to use 450-degree oven, so we're going to cook at a very high temperature today. Alright, and so that's all the things you're going to need. There's going to be a card at the end of the video that's going to list all the ingredients and also give you the address for the salt, fat, acid, heat website that you can go visit and see some Nasra and check out some of our other recipes.